These are the 7 resume mistakes killing your job search. I asked Yana Senina, a career coach and former recruiter at Google and Meta, what mistakes she sees over and over again. You're not prepared for what she told me. Most people getting rejected aren't unqualified. They're making simple mistakes that get their resume thrown out before a human even looks at it. You could be the perfect person for the job, but if your resume has any of these 7 problems, you'll never get the chance to prove it. By the way, if you're struggling to get callbacks and want expert eyes on your resume, that's what Mentor Cruise is for. Yana mentors job seekers on Mentor Cruise and can help you fix these exact mistakes. Check the link below. Mistake number 1, having too much detail in your resume. Most people think a longer resume makes them look more impressive, but as Yana put it, the more you cram in, the harder it is for a recruiter to see what's actually relevant.
You tend to put as much information as you can think of because you think that this will make you stand out from other candidates. The funny part, and the sad part actually, is that it's often counterproductive because number 1, they might simply not spot what they're looking for, and when they see the part that they were looking for, because it's, let's say, just a small piece of the bigger picture, they might think that maybe your experience was not deep enough in that particular field.
Stick to 1 page if you got less than 10 years of experience, or 2 pages max if you have more. And if you can't justify every line, it probably doesn't need to be there. One of Yana's clients cut their resume from 4 pages down to 2 and went from getting 0 replies to landing interviews at Meta and Google.
You don't need to put everything you've done there. You want to be very intentional about what you pick and always think about, is this what my potential CV reader wants to hear?
So if your greatest achievement is hidden on page 4 of your resume, you're missing an opportunity to shine. Mistake number 2, listing responsibilities instead of results. Most resumes read like job descriptions. You manage projects, you lead a team, you deliver campaigns. Guess what? So did everyone else. As Yana says, what makes a candidate stand out isn't what they did, it's what changed because they did it.
What makes one candidate stand out from the other is actually the scope of their work, or the level of complexity of the projects that they worked on, or the impact that their work had on the business. Imagine if you are looking for an English teacher to pass IELTS. One teacher describes themselves as, well, I prepare students for exams, I give them homework, I provide feedback. And then the other one says that I have prepared 150 students, and 90% of them passed with the so-and-so mark, and they, as a result, they entered into this and this top universities. So of course, naturally, you get a lot more interested and curious about the second teacher that talks about the results of their work. So it works the same way for all of us, really.
So instead of listing tasks, show results, numbers, improvements, impact. That's what takes your resume from describing your work to proving your value. Mistake number 3, missing metrics. If your resume doesn't have numbers, it's missing proof. Saying you improved processes or increased engagement sounds nice, but by how much? As Yana says, metrics give your claims credibility.
Metrics can help you to show your impact, to give a benchmark to your result.
Even something simple like screen 30 candidates a day versus the team average of 15 instantly shows your impact within the context of your work.
For example, let me use a recruiter. You proposed a process improvement that allows you to screen 30 CVs a day. But then if the person reading your CV does not know what is the standard of this team, how can they know if it's an impressive result or not? So then you would want to say 30 CVs a day versus team's average 15 a day, as an example. So metrics helps you to paint a stronger picture of your results.
So add those numbers and show your value. Mistake number 4, using the same resume for every job. There's no such thing as a perfect resume. As Yana says, every role is looking for something slightly different, and recruiters can smell the copy-paste a mile off.
Absolutely has to be tailored. A lot of candidates struggle with customizing their resume because they don't understand what is actually important for that particular job. I advise to invest good amount of time into preparing a strong basic version of your resume, 80% of which content of that resume you will be using for most of the jobs, and then 20% will be tweaked.
For each application, adjust your headline, summary, and bullet points so they speak to that specific role, not the one you applied to yesterday.
I like to advise people to literally highlight a few sections in red that need customization, and then once you apply for the role, you scan the job description, briefly update your resume. The part that you should customize would be the professional identity and the job titles. They should be as close as possible to the target role. The summary of your resume, this is kind of the first thing that people scan through. The order of your bullet points, the bullet points meaning the achievements, the results results itself.
By the way, don't blame the ATS for ghosting your resume. Here's the truth. ATS keyword filtering is a myth. Here's what Yana had to say.
So there is no ATS systems that scan resume for keywords. So ATS is an applicant tracking system. It's not applicant rejecting or screening system. So there is no such thing that, a machine screening a resume before it gets to the recruiter.
Mistake number 5. Weak or missing LinkedIn. If you haven't updated your LinkedIn profile since 2017, you might be missing out. As Yana says, LinkedIn is no longer an option. Recruiters check it to get a sense of who you are beyond the bullet points.
Well, LinkedIn is absolute must when it comes to job search. Definitely important, definitely include it in your resume, and definitely make sure that it's also professionally updated, that it's consistent with your resume data. Make sure your headline is updated with the information that the recruiter would be looking for, which would be your titles, your industry experience, your expertise in a specific domain, what type of product or geographies, or maybe specific tools that are niche for the type of roles you're applying to. Make sure that you present a brief summary of yourself where you can also maybe share a more personal touch, but not sharing personal information, but maybe talking a little bit, what are you passionate about professionally? Why do you choose certain field? What made you successful so far? Any interesting facts that would help us got a picture about yourself.
Mistake number 6. Buzzwords without proof. Let's play buzzword bingo. Team player, great communicator, hardworking. Sounds great until you realize everyone else says the same thing. As Yana says, buzzwords mean nothing without proof.
ChatGPT word, do not use it. Meticulous as well. The ChatGPT words definitely something to avoid, and I guess from the ones that I've shared, that let's say communicator, team player, anyone can say that I am a good communicator or team player, but again, without a confirmation, doesn't really add value.
Back up your claims of what you've actually achieved and drop the filler words to focus on the results. Mistake number 7. Sloppy details, typos. Do they really matter? Little mistakes may seem small but can add up fast. In fact, according to Yana, simply having consistent formatting and attention to detail already makes you stand out from the majority of candidates.
In many cases, you would not be rejected because you had a slight typo or spelling mistakes. But again, let's put ourselves in a situation where, especially right now, there are hundreds and thousands of candidates sometimes applying for the same job. Why take chances to make a bad first impression on someone when you're competing with such a huge amount of applicants out there? Most candidates, surprisingly enough, actually don't take formatting, high level of precision so seriously. So you write your resume, you think, okay, this is enough. Let's just go with it because I've already spent 30 hours writing it. Of course, last thing I want to do is spend 2 more hours formatting it. And then they think, how can I actually stand out? But the funny part is actually if your CV is spotless, perfectly formatted, that actually stands out, because most of the resumes are not like that, because let's say people go to maybe 80% of accuracy of formatting, but they don't really take that extra, let's say 20% to make it really spotless and perfect, as if you are submitting your application for the presidency or something. But this is when the CV actually stands out. So definitely spend significant amount of time to ensuring that the CV conveys your level of professionalism and attention to detail.
When you're competing in a crowded job market, the details are what separate the good from the great. That's it. Fix these 7 mistakes and you'll see a completely different response rate. Your resume isn't just a document listing your work history, it's your ticket to the interview. And once you do start getting callbacks, watch this video on how to ace your interview. If you want personalized help from Yana or a whole bunch of experts who can review your resume, click the link below to find a mentor or mentor cruise. Thanks for watching.